Hey, Travis, was that your group's best 60-minute performance of the season?
I'd say so, yeah. That's a good team over there. Uh, and to come in and play a solid game like that and get a win was good for our group.
How about the way your group closed things out, really controlling things in the third period and not letting them find a way to battle back?
Yeah, I thought we made some good decisions once you got the lead. We've been talking a lot about managing the game at certain times of the game. I think with a young team, sometimes uh, that can become a problem. And we did a good job with it tonight.
Next up is Ian McIntyre.
Hey, Travis. You deflected before the game questions about how tough it had been for your team in Winnipeg, but a lot of your guys have been through a lot of those losses. So given that, what does a performance like this represent? What does it do for the group?
I did deflect it. I just didn't think it was worth talking about the day of the game that we haven't won here in 10 games or whatever it was. There's no sense dwelling on it, to be honest, Ian. And yeah, we know that we haven't won here for a while. So we've had some close games in here. We've had some good games against them in our building. I think we've had some pretty intense games against this team, and they're a good hockey team. But it doesn't feel like that we couldn't beat this team. I think we're a team that's good enough that can beat another good team. And tonight, all we wanted to worry about was our game. I think the media makes a little bit more out of streaks like that than players or coaches. It was never brought up in our room, but it's definitely nice to come in here and get a win. Because even though you don't talk about it, the players know, I know, but it's not something that you're going to sit and dwell on either.
And you outshot them 31-11 in the last two periods. What was the most impressive thing about this game from your perspective?
Just the 200-foot game, I think, that we played. They can score in bunches over there. I thought we were on top of our game, the type of game we want to play. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort from our players to play the way we need to have success. And again, you look at some of the players on their team, and then we limited them pretty well in the last two periods. I felt like the first period we turned the puck over in our own zone a few times. Again, and they play a pressure game as well. So it was nice to see our team respond, especially the last 40 minutes.
Next up is Farhan Lalji.
Travis, Brock was just in here and agreed that this was probably his line's best game and focused on how happy he was with their defensive play. What did you see from that end of it against a pretty good line, just their ability to control play and all of that maybe we haven't seen at both ends of the ice so far this season?
Yeah, I think they looked more like themselves from last year. I think we've seen an improvement probably the last three games leading up to tonight. When they're on, they break pucks out cleaner out of their zone. I thought overall our team broke the puck out a lot better tonight than we have in the past. And they're not just a rush line. I thought they were better on the forecheck. I also thought they were stronger in their competitive part of their game. They won more puck battles than they have in the past, and when you do that, good things happen. You spend more time in the other team's zone, and they had some good O-zone time. They probably, even though maybe they got the empty net goal, but didn't score as many points combined minus the empty net goal, they still had a strong game, and that's what it's all about.
What about Thatcher? I didn't necessarily see the shot volume that goaltenders have seen so far for you this season, but there was some quality there. Just what do you like about his game right now?
There's always going to be quality chances when you play the Winnipeg Jets. They're too good a hockey team, and in the NHL, you're going to face every night. You're going to face quality chances, and you need your goalie to stand in there. And I thought Demmer did a great job tonight. He looks a little bit sharper, a little more confident than the first 3 or 4 games that he played. But again, I think that's just a byproduct of playing now, getting in some games. Touched on it this morning. I think you're going to see teams in general are going to start to sharpen their game up between the 8 to 10, 11, 12 game mark, just without having exhibition games.
Next up is Thomas Drance.
Travis, you talked about the lotto line. You also just talked about your goaltender. In terms of what this one looked like to you, in the breakouts, your first line really going, and the goaltending, did this almost feel like a game that was a return to the identity you had last season and in the bubble?
Sorry, Drancer, you were cutting in and out. Did it look like a game that we played in the bubble?
Did it look like a return to the identity you had in the bubble and last season?
Yeah, I think it looked more like our team from last year, getting closer to the game that we want to see. I've said it. Our team has to work extremely hard to win. That's the way we feel. We want to take away time and space, and if we don't work hard and we don't skate, it doesn't happen. But part of that is being solid with the puck and not turning the puck over, which we touched on at the beginning of the season.
And Niels Höglander gets the goal, but it's really the whole shift leading up to it, both the entry, the forecheck, the power move inside. What are you seeing from him on that line, and how important do you think he's been, I guess, to what that line's been able to do through 11?
Well, you kind of answered it for me. The play on the rush, the power move. What was the other words you used?
I don't know, some other ones.
He's just a good player. He works extremely hard. He's not afraid to go to hard places. And with young guys that have skill, sometimes that's the part that you kind of have to wait for a little bit, is that part where they get places and want to get places quick and get into uncomfortable spots, I guess is what I would call them. And, he's jumped right in. I think that's probably the most impressive part for me is not so much his skill, but which he is. I am impressed by his skill, don't get me wrong, but just his willingness to go to uncomfortable places and do well in them.
Next up is Ben Kuzma.
Hey, Travis. Brock talked about how difficult last year was. Obviously, he's a goal scorer, but he was struggling in learning other parts of the game and only had the 16 goals, I believe. The headlines are going to be the fact he has 8 goals, Travis, and he's leading the league in scoring right now. But he's been better away from the puck, and it meant a lot to him, he said, being out there in the last minute of play while you guys were trying to protect the lead, and he gets the empty net goal. How much better has his play been without the puck?
Yeah, it's been a slow increase from day one. I'm not surprised. Brock is a guy that, first of all, he's smart. He wants to win. He understands that almost exactly what I just said about Höglander, about skilled players getting their nose dirty a little bit. And if you want to play at the end of the game, you've got to be willing to do those things. You got to be willing to block shots and get in lanes and get a puck out. And I think this is just seeing a young player that's maturing over the years. Not shocked, because I thought he took a step in that area last year, even when he wasn't maybe scoring as much. But I've talked to those guys for a few years now about having their time at the end of the game, and when it would come, and it would only come if they're willing to do those things. So it was, it's a testament to him.
Thank you.
Next up is Jeff Patterson.
Travis, did we see a little veteran savvy on the part of Alex Edler on the opening goal there? It looked like he kind of sold that he was going to play it in behind the net, and obviously he spotted Brock in the slot.
Yeah, well, I call it a veteran savvy move. I don't know, or just call it a good player making a good play. If you watch Alex Edler every day and get to coach him every day, you really appreciate certain parts of him. He's maybe the most detailed player I've ever coached, and understands certain details of the game. And it doesn't surprise me. He's a very smart hockey player, and he's more than capable of making plays. He could still play the power play and be really good on it. We've kind of taken him off the power play just because of not just because of other guys, but because we want to keep Eddie's minutes down a little bit. And he plays such a rugged game in his zone. And, never mind being smart, he's a consummate team player as well. And he's a great example for all young players, young defensemen that come into the league.
And what about Chatfield's night? You know, it's one thing to play him at home, obviously, where you can manage him a little bit more, but out on the road against a team like Winnipeg, plays 17 minutes. And again, every night's a test for him at this level. But what did you think of his night?
I liked it. Just the fact that Bomber's playing him that many minutes says a lot about the faith that he's gaining. You know, young players have to earn and gain the trust of coaches, and a lot of that comes from being able to play in your own zone and defend. It's not just about offense, and he's showing that he's capable of that. He's quick, and he's dedicated to that part of the rink. So, you know, when guys deserve ice time, they're going to get it.
And with the final question for Travis is Gemma Carson-Smith.
Hi, Travis.
Hi, Gemma.
What does a win like tonight against a team like the Jets do for your group as you head out on a road trip where you're going to face two of the top teams in the division?
Well, hopefully it does a lot. You know, the one thing about our group is we want them to be confident. We want them to be excited to play. And when you win, that's the best way of gaining confidence. But the other thing we talk about our team is whether you play well or don't play well, accept it, be honest about it, and move on from it and get ready for the next game. And we can enjoy this, you know, for tonight and talk about it and be happy about it. But come tomorrow, we'll get ready to play the next game.